Hello there. It looks again like games journalist has a problem with female characters. They can't stand whenever a woman character is in their video games, and they gotta complain about it. I mean Ivy, Kasumi, Chun-Li, the ladies from the Dead or Alive series. When will they stop being sexist and stop complaining about women being in video games? This is an article from Kotaku, written by Ian Walker. Mysterious, Guilty Gear characters' boobs keep growing with every sequel. Now some of you may say, wait a minute, the writer's not saying he has a problem with women in video games. To that I reply, wow, how does it feel to have your arguments misrepresented? I have no idea what that's like. Like whenever you complain that the new character in a movie series is a little bit overpowered and is Mary Sue. Oh no, you just hate women in movies. I saw this article some time ago and always wanted to do a video on it. I just haven't had time to sit down and do it. Once again, somebody in games journalism complaining about boobs. Of all the things in the world to complain about, boobs, really? 20 years ago, whenever I was a teenager in high school, somebody would have told me, hey, you know, one day games are going to complain about boobs. One day you're going to open up your Game Informer and it's going to be right there saying, these titties are too damn big. I would have said you're fucking nuts, because there's no such thing. But anyway, let's get into the article and see what they have to say. Even in a franchise as full of brilliant characters as Guilty Gear, Baiken rules. I think that's how you pronounce it, Baiken, sorry if I'm doing that wrong. The fucked up samurai, despite missing both an eye and an arm, is canonically one of the strongest people in the fighting games universe. And it's hard not to be charmed by her brash swagger she brings to every battle. But one thing about Baiken continues to confuse me after all these years. Why do her boobs keep growing with every Guilty Gear game Arc System Works releases? Well, first, have you not heard of Dolly Parton? Also, this is a female character, seems to be a lead character that's one of the strongest characters who is also handicapped. And we're going to complain about her? What, is this not enough? Continuing on. It wasn't until she appeared in 2017's Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2, I'm sorry I don't know what that means. However, that a series layperson like me began to notice curious aspects of Baiken's character design. Curious aspects, really? Sure, the samurai's clothing always hung loose around her body, often giving players a quick peek at private parts suited more for mature games. I thought it said gamers. But it felt like her breasts suddenly became just as important to her aesthetics as her eye patch or missing arm. Why not? What's wrong with it? Now, I'll admit, I am getting a little whiff of humor here. Part of me is wondering if they're just being a little trolly. I forget what you call that whenever you're being a po, you're putting a put on. Then this paragraph finishes out with, I mean, the animators went out of their way to make Baiken's tits cushion her fall after a sweep that can't feel good. Well, a clever warrior uses all their tools. Okay, here they're just basically saying that the character has changed a lot in the last 24 years, even when compared to her contemporaries. Just look at this artwork from the first Guilty Gear. She almost looks like a different person entirely, at least as far as her chest is concerned. Why you gotta reduce her to a chest, man? She's more than a set of tits, you know. Maybe she had some work done because it made her feel more confident. Maybe she's a grower, not a shower. I don't know if that applies to women. Oh shit, oh god, I'm sure that's misogynist somehow. Seriously though, most video game characters have grown and changed a great deal over the past 20 years. Chris Redfield went from looking like a normal, not even a military man, he looked like a cop. Now he looks like the Incredible Hulk. Go back and look at the differences in Ryu and Ken. They wear the same outfits, almost. They've both grown a lot more muscular than what they were. I don't know. To me, this is similar to complaining that every time that there's a new Batman film or new Iron Man film, the hero has more money. His money just keeps growing bigger with every sequel. Let's continue on and see what else they have to say. Okay, so I guess we're going through a bit of a timeline. We're in a time machine now. So this was Guilty Gear X. Yep, I don't know what you call that whenever they're closed. Just, there is no closure to it. It's just, you're waiting for a draft to come by. And so these game designers knew what they were doing. And I say there's not a fucking problem with it. So this is 2002's Guilty Gear XX and Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Update. And the writer says this is what looks most like Baiken to him. Well, that's fine. That's fine. But the artist is the artist. They're the ones making her now. This looks almost entirely different to me. This is from the 2003 spin-off. Guilty Gear Isuka, I think. And then here they go. As you can see, things really took off with Baiken in this latest Guilty Gear. And then her design entered the realm of absurdity with Guilty Gear Strive, pictured at the top of this blog. Well, if you're going to do it, go all the way with it. Oh shit, that just made me think of something. I better check and see how fucking old she is. Okay, I looked it up and they said that her age is unknown, but she's older than another character definitely who's at the age of 23. That was just me skimming the wiki real quick before somebody loses their fucking mind. But I myself, I really like this design. I think it really sticks out. You're definitely going to notice her in a crowd. Oh, and here's a rant I've been wanting to have. But before somebody starts, whenever I bring up male characters that are sexy, like Chris Redfield or Batman, Iron Man, or God knows how many other male characters that women fawn over, don't sit there and tell me, well, that's male power fantasy. That doesn't mean that they can't be sexualized. This idea that it has to be one or the other is a false dichotomy. If men want to be powerful to attract women, and women find power to be attractive, that's still sexualization to make the characters powerful, is it not? It can be both. Being attractive in and of itself is power. Don't believe me? Go to Twitch. Look at the people who are raking in the dough. Tell me they aren't good looking. Or do they stream in bikinis because they think it's more comfortable? And before anybody starts on that, I don't have a problem with it. I say get that money. If guys are dumb enough to hand you the money, take it. Alright, fine. I'll get off my soapbox. Okay. Times change. Where once Baiken was a character so hell-bent on revenge that she seemingly couldn't care less about her risque wardrobe. Why would you do that? Risque wardrobe, risking... That's so hard to say. Her risque wardrobe, risking an errant nip slip. She's since been pseudo-flanderized with a design that focused mostly on having boobs as big as her head. What the fuck does flanderize mean? Okay, so I had to look that up, and basically it's a coined term from Ned Flanders, where basically a character's characteristics, for lack of a better word, are expanded upon or exaggerated to absurdity, which is one of my favorite forms of humor. And continuing on with the article, and while not to say Baiken doesn't still play an integral part of the overarching Guilty Gear story, or that having tiggle bitties means she can't be a serious, multifaceted character, where does it end? Even Bando Namco retreated a little after pushing Ivy's voluptuous close to human anatomical limits in Soul Calibur 4. But it's not clear anyone at Arc Systems Works possesses a similar sense of control. Well, let me help you with something. Here's a question I would challenge. If this person is being serious, if they're not doing this to be comical, if they really do have a problem, with female characters having tig old biggies. Tig old bitties. I can't say it right. Female characters will reach the limit of how big their boobs can be long before games are ever considered to be PC enough. That is a goalpost that will always be pushed back. Okay, we made her boobs smaller. Oh, now we gotta have her in less revealing clothing. Okay, her clothing is not as revealing now. Oh, okay, we gotta change her race. Okay. Oh, we gotta change her sex. It's a fighting game. She doesn't really have a sexuality. Okay, we'll change her sexuality. That is something that will never end. You will never reach a point to where people like that say, oh, okay, that's good. That's good. You did good, man. That has no limit. At least boob size has a limit. There would come a point where we'd be like, we're fighting a beach ball. Even though I think that would be a pretty cool bonus boss. All that said, I've become surprisingly addicted to chaos. He says it like that's a drug. This is one of the hardest. I don't think they're messing up in their writing, but wow, this is just really hard to read for me. All that said, I've become surprisingly addicted to chaos over the last few years. So in the interest of sowing as much discourse as possible, I have just one message for the madman at Arc Systems Works who's in charge of designing Baiken.
Bigger. Bigger. Bigger.
Jeff?
Bigger.
Jeff?
Bigger.
Jeff!
Bigger.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Well, I'll admit, the ending kind of surprised me with that video. Part of me really thinks that the writer here wrote this with a bit of levity. They're being humorous, which I find very surprising for Kotaku. I'm a little confused by the article, because usually I see Kotaku and Polygon, games journalists in general, think things like this are a huge problem, so to speak. Is the writer riding the line here, saying, hey, I don't actually have a problem with big boobs, I'm just bringing attention to it because I gotta fill my social justice quota? Or who knows, maybe this is the writer's way of trolling people like me who are always looking for stupid news like this. Now, I will be putting the link to this article down in the information, and the reason why is because the comment section is a trash fire. Okay, just to read the comments here, just a small portion of them. It's no wonder the world doesn't take video games seriously, with articles like this one on the front page. Are they meant to be taken seriously? I'm guessing the majority of people who play this game spend as much time jerking off as they do playing games. Big tits sell games, so where's the surprise here? And why are people so worried about how much other people jack off? Whenever somebody says something like that to me, part of me is like, do you want me to stream it to your house? Do you want me to record it and send it to you? Why are you imagining me doing that? I'm flattered, but no. Not the fault of the article. Fault the game designer's choice to design for the lowest brow of fan. That's right. Intellectual men prefer small titties, gentlemen. Small titties are the Rolex of titties. Oh God. Oh. I love this. Oh, for the lowest brow fan. The lowest brow fan who likes titties. And then finally, these gamers, we demand to be taken seriously. Which, I mean, I understand that post, but it's like, they're already after each other. And I think it's because it's hard to tell if this article is in support of the Tigo biddies, or if it's honestly being like, shame the game developers, shame. How dare you have women with titties? God, I'm saying titties way too much. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. It's an article about titties. Right? I just went through it and made fun of it because I like to make fun of absurd things. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thank you guys very much for listening. If you feel so inclined, maybe like, maybe subscribe. I'll keep doing things like this. Hopefully I'll find more time to put out more articles. If you're curious of what it is that I do, well, I got a whole library, but I just like finding absurd stories, things that I find are funny, and then reading them. So yeah, anyway, thanks again for listening. Know your time is important. Your time is important, and you have a great day.